One of the things I like about Knight of the Seven is when we look at Ser Duncan, he is what I would describe as a healthy example of male masculinity. He's being able to express his fears, his emotions. He's talking about the complex experiences of grief and his roles, and he has this idea of what it means to be male and a knight. And then gathering information, it really does a beautiful job of highlighting his opportunity to have that self-reflectivity. It's a little like in D&D. He rolled an insight check on himself and went, what are my views on masculinity? He does a really, really good job of talking to other people, gathering that information about, should I be doing this? Should I not? Why am I doing this? And having that self-reflectivity of what makes up a male, where in that era you are a knight or a lord or a king in nobility, and he's kind of figuring out his own identity and who he is as a person, and he's able to experience emotions. He expresses emotions with when he's looking at Egg, and he's expressing his emotions with Raymond or with Baratheon, and being able to look at expressing his human emotions. You'll hear me say this a lot. What makes a character a healthy example of maleness or masculinity? It's his humanity. He's human first and male second. I think one of the other factors that makes Duncan such a really good example of a healthy male role model is he is trying to be a role model. Don't get me wrong, I don't particularly like the idea of perpetuating violence towards Egg or his squire or someone in submissive patterns. We have more to talk about on that. But his actual care of Egg, his acknowledgement and responsibility of a knight over a squire, it's like it is his responsibility to take care of this person and to teach him and to give him these different opportunities, than giving him like a more well-rounded experience with the world versus the Targaryens. And I think even Maekar is talking about that, or starting to highlight, well, all of his sons have kind of continued to perpetuate those toxic masculinity models over time, and Egg is his like last one not to. For many parents, that is a big concern, is thinking about their legacy or the impact that they're going to have on their children or on the world as a result of that. But then you're kind of inadvertently feeding into those same intergenerational trauma factors, and you end up kind of doing the same thing. I think Egg is actually a really good example of how he's actually trying to break the Targaryen curse, essentially, to break those patterns of intergenerational trauma. So he's also a really wonderful character, and I'm eager to see what's going to happen with him and how they're going to depict him in the future seasons. But that's kind of what media is for and how it can be so useful, is we are thinking about what are healthy models of people. I love using fictional characters, and I actually assign most of my patients to use fictional character or mainstream media for healthy and unhealthy examples. The reason being is because, for lack of a term, they're vetted. The characters themselves, not the actors. Don't get me wrong, not the actors. We're not looking at the actors and who they are. We're looking at the fictional characters themselves. The reason for this is we don't know what's really behind the scenes on the non-fictional character, on the actual person. I can sit here and list you many, many examples of real life male persons that I would deem as healthy male examples. Matt Mercer, Brendan Fraser, Terry Crews. I can sit here and list them. However, I don't really know what's going on behind the scenes, which is why I don't typically list those to my patients. I will say things like fictional characters. Aragorn, now Ser Dunk. We're looking at Gomez Adams. We're looking at these characters and being able to specifically identify what makes them a healthy example of masculinity or a healthy example of maleness. So use fictional characters. So with that being said, who are your fictional depictions of healthy male models in mainstream media? Put that down in the comments down below. Also, huge fucking shout out to Knight of the Seven for not depicting any scenes of sexual violence. That was so refreshing to see that, and not having to sit there and constantly be like, when is the next sexual assault gonna happen in Westeros? Oh, it was so nice to see the absence of that. Made it really much more enjoyable for me.